It's Brian Preston, the money guy.
Okay, this next question, this is actually one from Instagram, which I think is awesome. If you guys haven't gone to check out our Instagram, Rebecca does an amazing job with that. Go check out the Money Guy podcast out there as well. This is from Niels. Neil said, if you save up longer, parentheses delayed gratification, love it, and put a larger percentage down, say 40% or 50%, can you move into more expensive car while maintaining the 36-month at 8% of gross income? So, we always talk about 23-8, 20% down, don't finance for any more than 3 years or 36 months, and it can't be more than 8%. What he's saying is okay if I buy a more expensive car, I'm thinking luxury brand is what he's talking about here, if I put more down and I still subscribe to the 3 and the 8, am I allowed to do more than 20?
So first, I think we need to give context. Is that why do we even have a 23-8 rule? Is that I recognize, look, if you're like my father, like my brother, who you're super handy, you're good at working on cars, you can fall into that camp that you've heard Ramsey Solutions and others. Go buy the car that you're nervous it won't crank up, but you only paid $2,000 for it. But it's okay if it doesn't crank up because you're going to go out there and MacGyver it with a paper clip and you'll be off your way to work. But I recognize that a lot of us who are less handy, but we still have to get to work because the JOB is going to be the way to start building the army of dollar bills, the wealth. So getting to the JOB is so important. I've tried to create a rule that allows flexibility in the system so that you can, if you had to use debt, which is unfortunate on a vehicle because vehicles depreciate rapidly. You're paying money to maintain them. Our goal is to make sure you're buying a functional vehicle that gets you from point A to point B, not something to flex to show your neighbors, to show your friends, show that person at the red light who doesn't care that you're successful. So that's why we came up with 20% down, finance no longer than 3 years amortization, and then no more than 8% of your gross income. That's what it is. Now, look, I'm going to bring in the financial order of operations because I think that's also an indicator of where we are with the 23-8 is because the question that's been asked, if they're saving 40%, is that
for
what
a
I
down
heard?
payment, 40% for down payment of the car.
40%, well, 40% of the car, I don't know what that percentage is of total gross
savings,
income.
that's right.
But remember, once you get to hyperaccumulation, meaning you're saving 25% of your gross income, I don't care what you do with the dollars after that. That's why you can either put that money towards kids' education, or if that's when you want to go buy the Tesla,
love it.
go buy the Tesla. I'm not that worried about it at that point. I just don't want you to get so energized about a vehicle, get so excited, and you're already thinking of all the different ways this car or this vehicle is going to benefit you, that you lose focus of your army of dollar bills, because it is one of those things, and that's why we added the rule in addition to 23-8. We also added your investments, your monthly investments have to exceed your monthly car payment.
Love it.
Otherwise, you're blowing this thing up and you're building your financial life on a house of cards, and that's a disaster. And that's why I hate to be so nuanced on the rules, but I want to make sure people understand the context of why we added flexibility. This is a minimum rule. And hopefully you can do the right savings habits so you can be unleashed to go buy whatever you want because it is your army of dollar bills. It is your money. You work hard for it. We're just trying to make sure it's done appropriately so you don't lose out on an opportunity to really build compounded wealth.
I love it. And our hope is that eventually you grow to the point to where you don't need the 23-8 guidelines anymore. If you so choose, you can just go write a check and buy a car, and that is financial independence, where you just have the ability to make those kinds of decisions. That's what we ultimately hope that you're working towards.